Hello and welcome to the show. You're listening to me, Joe Morgan, on LCR, Liverpool Community Radio. And on today's show I'll be talking to my guest Ken Wynn about one of his passions, which is the Humble Bee movie, and the website that he owns called Attack from Planet B. I don't know if anyone remembers, years ago, whenever you went to the pictures, there was always what they call a B movie on before the main feature. The B movie was usually a low-budget film shown first as part of a double feature before the main movie presentation, with maybe one or two advertisements thrown in during the interval, as this space between features was also an excellent hook for selling products before the main feature. Enter the cinema rusher with the ice cream and the popcorn tray. I don't know about anyone else, but I reckon back then, even if the B movie was bad, the fact that you had an extra movie to watch, regardless of whether you were interested in the subject, still made you feel like you were getting a bit more value for your money. Whereas by today's standards, it's expensive to go to the cinema to start with. You get a couple of trailers for upcoming movies, now and again you may get to see a short film, but generally you only get to watch one feature. Only then to be bombarded with adverts for products which you probably already bought before you sat down, which, when you think about it, may seem to be counterproductive. I'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. You're listening to me, Joe Morgan, on LCR, Liverpool Community Radio. Before the break, I was talking about the old B movie and how it was originally used as part of a double feature. When you went to the movies, the B movie would be the one that you sat through first before your ice cream and before the main movie feature. Hollywood would pour money and big names, from the actors to the writers and directors, into hugely advertised productions which movie critics would be all over reviewing them for newspapers, magazines and journals, etc. Reviews of which, good or bad, would influence the public into seeing the movie or not. The B movie would be either get a cursory review or more likely not at all. But from another perspective, B movies were also a really good platform for new writers and filmmakers alike to promote their talent and get their work noticed. Now, I realise that for some people, when you hear the term B movie, it automatically conjures up images of cheap science fiction movies with rubbish acting, wobbly film sets, cardboard polystyrene props, thin plots that make absolutely no sense whatsoever, and overly dramatic musical scores. A lot of these B movies, though, were actually enjoyed by millions and in a lot of cases went on to achieve cult status. A really good example would be any one of those movies made by Hollywood director Ed Wood, an American screenwriter, director, producer, actor and author. I think one movie of his which stands out for me has to be Plan 9 from Outer Space. A black and white sci-fi horror film made in 1959. The film was about aliens and zombies and a doomsday weapon that could destroy the universe. In 1980, it was actually dubbed the worst movie ever made. Both Wood and the movie were awarded 2 Golden Turkey Awards as the worst director ever and worst film respectively. Some of you listening may remember a show called Mystery Science Theater 3000, an American television comedy series which ran on the Comedy Channel, Comedy Central and then the Sci-Fi Channel. The show involved a man and his robot sidekicks who would do a comedic running commentary on B-movies as part of an experiment. I'll be right back after the break when I will be joined today by my guest Ken Wynne to talk about the website that he runs, which is fast becoming a huge archive dedicated to the B-movie. Hello and welcome back. You're listening to me, Joe Morgan, on LCR, Liverpool Community Radio. For those of you just tuning in, I've been talking about B-movies, which when I was a kid was the term for a film that was on before the film you paid to see at the cinema. Joining me in the studio right now is Ken Wynne. Ken runs a website called, very aptly, Attack from Planet B, which is an absolute archive of information. Hello Ken and welcome to the show.
Hey Joe, thanks for having me.
I have to say, looking at the website, there are tons of films I've never even heard of.
There's tons of films on that website I haven't even heard of as well.
Right, what got you interested in B-movies in particular?
That would be down to my mum. My mum, at a very early age, my age, she bought herself, or rather my dad bought her, a video recorder. And what they used to do, they used to just record so many different movies, and she used to have them all neatly organised in cabinets, all written and labelled. So I made it my mission to go through and watch each of the movies. Anything with an odd title, that would be the next movie to watch on that day. So yeah, she's responsible for my
so when you were younger
taste.
I mean, did she allow you to watch most of these movies?
She always used to, she'd watch the films before she'd let me watch them to see if they were suitable, and then she'd let me watch, the films that she deemed were suitable at that time. So there was films that I couldn't watch until later on, when I got older as a teenager. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that she used to record were cheesy B-movies, so
okay.
they were never anything you could take seriously.
Okay, right. So how long has Attack from Planet B been up and running, and how did it come about?
Attack from Planet B was introduced by a friend of mine, Adam Akers. He's a web developer, and he shares the same sort of common movie taste.
Yeah.
So he set it up with HTML, CSS, and used WordPress as the platform in which we could do the content management. I was actually introduced 2 years later to Attack from Planet B, so it'd been running 2 years before I'd gotten onto it just by looking for movie reviews. So one of the things that he always used to do, Adam, was ask people, do you want to come and submit a review for us? And I thought to myself, at that point, I thought, yeah, I'd love to do that. So got in touch with him, and that started the ball rolling. So about 2012, that's when I started writing for him. Did that for a year, and then everything went quiet.
Right.
So, I was contacted him one day, just said, I've sent you a few reviews, I've noticed the website's not been updated in a while.
Did that mean that people weren't logging on and submitting or anything like that?
No, I think people were still contacting him, but he'd moved on in his career to the point where he'd set up a few different websites for clients, so he was getting paid for managing these on a full-time basis, and he didn't have the time to run Attack from Planet B anymore. So I made the bold suggestion, I can run that for you.
Yeah.
So, that's how that came about, really.
So you're the sole owner of it now?
I am, yeah. I took over it last year, and since then we did a complete redesign. We started trying to get some of the old writers involved again. I'm constantly trying to update it as much as I can in my spare time, because this is a hobby, really. And, just get as many people involved and as many people visiting the site as possible.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned this earlier, people tend to think of B-movies as old black and white films, mainly science fiction or horror, but would I be right in thinking that isn't really the case?
No, I think, I think the B-movie term gets thrown around quite a lot now, and it's applied to anything that's low budget. So, you could have a drama, and if it's low budget, bad acting, that can be considered a B-movie, and that doesn't have to necessarily be in that, the golden age of Hollywood cinema, which was considered 50s, 60s, that could be today. Yeah,
we're talking about things like, off the top of my head, things like Sharknado then.
Sharknado is a good example of a B-movie today, yeah.
Right. So, out of all the different genres of B-movie, what is your personal preference?
My personal favourite is horror.
Right.
Yeah, I've grown up with the horror genre. It's the most creative film genre I can think of, just in that it doesn't matter if, people don't have money. They somehow find ways to create them special effects to, get people involved. And it's more of a community, because you see these independent filmmakers working in the horror genre, and the director's friends with the producer who's friends with the actors. It's people just coming together and trying to make a scary film. Yeah, and I think that's great.
I mean, getting back to the old black and white movies, for instance, you didn't even... The colour was not an issue, was it? Because if you saw a load of blood and guts, you knew that blood was red. Because it was always in the psyche, shall we say. So
definitely.
Yeah. Brilliant. So... I noticed that you write a lot of the reviews yourself for Attack from Planet B. Are you still inviting others to do the same?
Yeah, of course. Anyone is welcome to come and join and submit an article or review for Attack from Planet B. As I say, do this completely in my spare time. So, although we've got some advertisements on the site, all that money just goes back into the hosting of the website. So we're always looking for volunteers. Anyone who wants to submit a review. Doesn't matter, if you've never wrote before. I hadn't wrote before I started writing for Attack from Planet B. You learn as you go on, and we're happy to help and give advice.
Well, I noticed as well, when I was looking on the website, that you're also linked with a programme that's got something to do with Amazon. What's that about?
That's right, yeah. For every review that we've got on the site, we just have a link at the bottom of the review. So if you like the movie that we're reading about and you'd like to buy it, you click on that link, buy it, and we'll get a small commission of that. And that normally just goes towards getting more films to review, or the hosting, as I say. So, it helps support us, and it's a nice boost.
Plus
as well.
It gets people looking for the movies as well,
yeah, definitely,
doesn't it? Yeah. So, do you have a large collection of B movies yourself?
I have a lot of movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
not necessarily B movies,
Or
but just a large collection
Yeah.
of movies. Me and my wife always tend to just watch as much as we can of all different genres. It's just something that we've grown up with and we enjoy doing. Sitting there like after work, about 11 o'clock, midnight, getting some popcorn, watching a film,
Yeah.
just relaxing, and yeah, it's just
Brilliant.
great pastime.
Now, I see there's also sections on books and music and video games. Are these all tied in with movies in general? Or are these sections where anything goes?
I think to start off with, when I introduced them sections to the website, it was tied into movies. If someone wrote a book review of Dracula, we'd link that to the films, etc. But I think we're hoping as the website expands, we'll move beyond that, because there are many books, video games, music even, that you can consider, of that sort of cheese, low-budget genre. For example, one of the reviews I did of video games called Dead Island, quite a modern new game, quite big budget game, but it's focused on an island that's been contaminated by a virus, turning everyone into zombies. And
Right, okay.
playing the game is like, you're involved yourself interactively in a B movie. That's
Right.
way of describing it.
Anyway, we're going to go for a short break now. Be back in a bit. Hello, welcome back. You're listening to me, Joe Morgan, on Liverpool Community Radio, and with me I'm joined by Kenny Wynn, who runs Attack from Planet B, a website dedicated to B movies. Now, do people contact the website, Ken, asking for help finding out information about a movie, for example, something they saw years ago and they remember either everything about it or some small detail but can't remember the title?
Yeah, they do. We get some through our comments pages, whether it's attached to a review of a similar movie or it's on our about page. People tend to come through saying, "Oh, they assume you know everything about movies." So they're like, "Oh, do you know about this movie?" And you think, "Hang on."
It's like they get in touch with you to say, "I've seen this like alien that looked like it was made of like, like a moped with big goggly eyes or something like that," and expect you to know what it is.
Some of the most vaguest things, like something about. I got one a while ago where someone was talking about aliens that were ruling the world with harmonicas, and just random stuff like that. So even if you don't know yourself, we tend to look that up, and then I think that's a great idea for another review.
Yeah, they probably seen some really bad blues act or something. But, okay, so on average, how many hits would you normally say you got on the website every month?
Every month, it sort of fluctuates, but on average, we get a few thousand. It's not a lot, but it's what you'd expect from such a cult website, and one that's fairly, up until this point, unknown except through our own social media channels. So my job, what I hope to do in the future, is just build that brand, as it were, and get more people involved. And
well, that actually leads me to my next question. What are your future plans for the website?
Future plans are just to keep expanding it as much as possible, get more writers in, get more people involved. I always continue to change and tweak the design, see what works, see what doesn't. It's all an experiment for me. So we just hope that as it progresses, it'll become one of the big definitive websites for cult cinema.
You want it to be the go-to place?
I want it to be the go-to place for people to come to, yeah, definitely.
That's absolutely brilliant. As I say, I mean, half of the stuff on there I'd never even heard of. I mean, I tend to see titles and think, do I really want to watch that?
See, I see them titles and think, I'm going to watch that.
Yeah. Brilliant. I think we're going to go for another break. Right, welcome back. You're listening to me, Joe Morgan, on Liverpool City Radio, and I've got Kenny Wynn here with me. Ken runs a website on B Movies called Attack from Planet B. Now, if you were able to make your own movie, what would it be?
If I was to make my own movie, I actually have the start of a script that I was writing. before I got involved with this website, I was involved in animation. That's something that I'm still quite passionate about. So I wanted to do a short film about zombies. Now everyone's done zombies to death, but maybe I'm giving too much away here. Someone's might steal
don't give
this
too
idea.
much
No,
away.
no. It was to do with honeybees, and honeybees, because of the insecticides that they were using, would become deformed and contract this virus, and then the honeybees would go around stinging people, and that would then start off the zombie virus, and we were going to call it Zombie.
Okay.
So, yeah, typical of a really cheesy
It sounds really good,
horror
actually.
movie.
Right, we did have a text message during the break. A local guy called Stephen wants to know, how did you cope before YouTube?
Before YouTube, I think all the movies that I was introduced to were just through either catching them on TV, normally midnight, after my mum would send me to bed. I'd be still sitting there watching all the midnight movies.
Did you ever try and sneak back down?
What, to
watch them, say, over a shoulder or something?
I did that once, yeah. And I regretted it because it was Stephen King's It. And it's a TV movie. It's in 2 parts if you've never seen it, and it's the most cheesiest, but also at the same time most horrifying
I've seen
TV
it.
movie you could ever.
What is it though about this fear of clowns? I find them really cool.
No, definitely not.
Yes.
I can't stand clowns. That's the one thing that that's the only thing that scares me. Clowns.
You'd love them on an American Horror Show then. So, okay then. Finally, Ken, if you can tell me this, what is your absolute all-time favourite B movie?
I'd like to say that I don't have any favourites, but
It's
The Evil Dead, obviously.
The first one or the remake?
The original. Sam Raimi directed, Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Just the first Evil Dead's perfect example of a horror film, a low-budget horror film done to perfection.
Yeah,
the special effects
I
are
must
perfect.
admit, I did like the Evil Dead movies as well.
And it spawned such a franchise, and there's not one entry in that franchise that is not on, well, maybe not on par, but still entertaining. It's just the perfect film series.
Right then. Well, thank you for coming in and talking to us today, Ken. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's been great.
So, if any of you listeners today are interested in B movies or, movies in general, you may want to pen a review. Check out the huge archive on this desiccated website, which is called Attack from Planet B. You can find it on www.attackfromplanetb.com. And also, you can find them on Facebook and Twitter. That's all from me. You've been listening to Joe Morgan on Liverpool Community Radio, Thank you and goodbye.